Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Playbook podcast, where we bring on a different BAM team member each week to highlight some of the rad placements they're getting for their clients. This week, we have on Brenda, who recently got her client Lanai a podcast opportunity on the Fund, Build, Scale podcast with Walter. Let's see how she did it. Hi, Brenda. Welcome.
So nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
So happy to have you here. So let's kick off with talking about your role at BAM, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm a managing director of the People and AI practice, which means I do a whole lot. But to summarize it, I run the practice where we work with any sort of tech startups that change the way that we work and live now through AI, since AI is changing the world, of course. And I also do a lot on the biz dev front. So I help reach out to new clients, tell them about our services, and get them on board if they're a fit. And then I also help with strategy for the PR team. So lead a bunch of teams, love mentoring the teams as we do wonderful PR work for our clients too.
And you have been at BAM for so long, and your role has grown in so many different ways.
Yes.
So fun to see how much you've taken over. I feel like over the last few years, you're just such an integral part of this company. So let's talk about your client. Tell me a little bit about them, what they do, what their area of focus is, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So Lanai is a client that we started working with just about 4 or 5 months ago. And they're wonderful. It's led by this very powerful CEO. Her name's Lexi, which I'll tell you a bit about in a little bit. But what they do is it's an AI observability platform. So they work with massive enterprise companies, go in, check out all of the tools, all of the AI tools that their thousands of employees are using. And they can be able to say, hey, enterprise or C-suite, 50 of your employees are using ChatGPT or another service and paying a premium for it out of their own wallets. You should definitely offer this as a service because clearly it's valuable. Or, hey, this service that you're paying a lot of money for is not actually valuable. You should stop paying money for this AI tool. And what that does is basically showcase to enterprises the ROI of all the AI tools that they have going on and just making sure everything's being used properly.
I feel like it's a very interesting company to be a part of right now because there are so many tools.
So many.
And it's like, is this actually working? Is this not? Is this actually showing value? It's hard to keep track when there's just a plethora of tools out there.
Yeah.
So let's dive into your pitch a little bit. So talk to me about what you were pitching, what was going on at Lanai, and what were the internal combos of like, hey, this is a good time to pitch this podcast and get you guys on there.
Yeah. So Lanai came to us not for any necessarily like a hard news moment. Like they raised their round of funding that was already live and didn't necessarily have anything like that coming up. So they came to us and said, hey, we need to grow our thought leadership. People need to know about us. We're trying to reach these enterprises and it's crowded. It's getting crowded in this space. So we really need to make ourselves known and build trust. And so we took a look at all of the assets that they had. And the most blatant one was their wonderful CEO, Lexi. She was the COO at Gusto. She worked for Google. She ran for the US Senate. Oh my goodness, it's a dream client. She's wonderful, a powerhouse. And so we're like, let's do an interview with you. Let's figure out your story, put that into a pitch, and let's pitch out some founder-specific podcasts, feature profiles, and whatnot. So most of our coverage, honestly, over the last few months has been focused around Lexi's point of view and we leaned in on her background to help us get those opportunities. And Fund, Build, Scale by Walter Thompson is a wonderful and really quickly growing podcast. Walter used to be at TechCrunch for many years, and like what many journalists are doing now, he veered off and started his own podcast. So we wanted to make sure they connected.
I love that. Let me bring up the pitch here so everybody can see. Mm-hmm. So why don't you go through this pitch a little bit? Tell us what worked. Tell us what the sticky points were to getting her on there. Let's just break it down.
Yeah. So I should also mention, we host a bunch of events here at BAM. Obviously, you know this, Kendall, you help run a bunch of them. And we do this because we want our clients to meet the reporters in person and really work with us to build those relationships. So that's how this came about. Walter was at one of our AI media dinners that we hosted a few months ago. I think it was in Q3 or so of last year. And then Lexi was there. She was in San Francisco. That's where she's based. So we made the connection first at the dinner. And then immediately after, we saw them hit it off at the dinner. I saw them jiving. So we wanted to send Walter a pitch. And this is what the pitch looked like that I sent him. So to break it down a little bit, the subject line you can see here, like I mentioned, really leaning into who she is quickly in as little words as possible, explaining why she's amazing and what her experience is all about. And then genuine intro. I know this sounds vague, but I genuinely do always hope they're well. And I feel like they can feel my energy through the screen when I say that. And then I just get right to it. So I mentioned Lexi Reese again, link her LinkedIn. And then here I dig a little bit deeper into her background and why she's a good fit to talk to Walter. Of course, he's interested in established founders who have done something great and built a great company and can share with other founders how they got there. And then here, just in simple bullets, we came up with a handful of topics that I know Lexi wanted to talk about. And we knew that Walter would probably be interested in just based on his previous episodes. So matching those two things together. And then we wrapped it up and Walter happily said, yes, let's schedule the podcast soon after that.
Walter's awesome. And I feel like the thing about this pitch is it was so tailored to him, but it was also just the perfect person to have on. You guys really made it so simple for him to give a yes that it was almost a no-brainer. And I feel like you said, having that relationship start before the pitching was huge. So I love that. And what was the client's reaction? Let me stop sharing this here. What was the client's reaction to getting that pod? I feel like that's something that's so fun and such a new emerging tech, it's an emerging media and it's different. So the impact's a little different, but podcasts are always fun.
Yeah, agreed. She absolutely loved it for a couple of reasons. One is her personality shines through in podcasts, on broadcast, on stage. So we've known that since day one when we first met her through one of our events actually too, where we knew we wanted to get her talking physically in addition to the digital mentions. And what we also know is helpful and important with that is that usually podcasts get translated into a written article. You get posted on many different platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or a website that the podcast host has. So if you're looking to increase your AEO, the new SEO, that's a really great tactic to add some different kind of diverse content into your mix where not only is AI seeing that you're mentioned in articles, news articles, but they're also seeing you on other formats, other web pages. And if you're saying the same thing across the board, it's really going to help you out with your AEO strategy.
Totally. And I feel like podcasts are so digestible. There's so many things that you can clip from them and continue to spread that it's such a value add. So I know you are already helping Lanai and getting all their press for them, but for founders who are looking to land press, other founders looking to land press, what is your number one piece of advice for them to close out this podcast?
I would say get out there, go to the events, meet the reporters face to face. It makes such a big difference. And we've just seen it come to fruition so much, like just from our events when we're connecting our founders in our media communities, they love it. And having that face connection really just helps it's nice. It's pleasant, of course, for the founders too, but it helps you get the kinds of results that you want with these reporters who are so busy fielding through tons of mail in their inbox too.
Totally. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for coming on. It was so great talking to you and seeing you again. For everybody listening, if you're interested in the events, go to BAM's website. We have an event tab. They're all on there. You can nominate yourself or somebody else. We hope to see you guys there. We have a new episode coming next week. And thank you, Brenda. Can't wait to have you on again.
Thanks. Same.